What's up guys, Jeff Cavaliere, AthleanX.com. Do you remember the perfect workouts? They became the most popular workout series ever here on YouTube, and I have you to thank for that. And to show my thanks, guess what? I'm bringing them back. By popular demand, the perfect tricep workout continues our series here today for 2025 and beyond. Now when it comes to a perfect workout, or in this case a perfect science-based workout, I think it's important to understand that there is no perfect science. So any workout that is actually recommended to you based on the latest in science alone is not really going to cut it. See, here, as we've always done, we rely on the sciences of anatomy and physiology and kinesiology, and we put it all together in a workout that actually makes sense. And we're going to do the same thing for you here. And we're going to sprinkle in what we know now to be the most effective techniques to employ when we're trying to build bigger triceps, but not just for today, but for the long haul. Right? Longevity and joint health is also going to be a big concern of mine as a physical therapist. And it's not just because I'm an anatomy nerd that this stuff matters to me. It's because I know when you're trying to build a muscle, this stuff will matter to everyone. And when we're talking about the triceps, we're talking about a three-headed muscle. The first two of which, the lateral and medial head, are responsible for getting those elbows extended out in front of our body. So we need exercises that do that. The same token, the third head here, the long head, is probably most responsible for the overall size of your arm, accounting for 2/3 of the size of the triceps itself. Now, how do we do that? Well, a lot of times people don't do all the exercises needed because you can't just focus on those that get those elbows up in that tricep long head in a stretch position, but ones that also put it in its fully contracted position. But of course, we're going to cover all those in our workout. Now, while I say the perfect tricep workout, what I actually mean is not just one tricep workout, but really two. And the reason for that is, while there's a lot that we disagree on when it comes to the science of training, the one thing we can pretty much all agree on is that it seems to be that training a muscle group twice a week is more beneficial than training it just once. And that's because we know that there's a possibility to re-stimulate a muscle every 72 hours or so that gives us another growth opportunity if we take it. That being said, a lot of that goes hand in hand with the amount of effort and intensity that you're willing to train with. If you're going to train really, really, really hard, think like Mike Mentzer, then you're not going to be able to train that muscle twice a week. And in that case, if you're looking for a workout like that, I have it. It's called the 100 arm workout that you're going to want to check out. But if you're like most of us that want to put in a good solid effort and want to see the best results for it, then you're going to be able to split the workouts up into two separate ones. But again, you're going to equate the volume that you normally would do in just that one workout and split it up over two. The good news there is the workouts will become shorter. And because of that, as I mentioned before, you're going to be able to train another muscle on that day, allowing us to hit all the muscle groups in this perfect workout twice a week. Now, this is the first time that we're covering a muscle that actually gets to be on the back end of one of your training days. In this case, every time we train chest. Now, the number of sets that you're going to perform in either of these two tricep workouts will be heavily dependent upon whether you're treating it like a standalone or whether you're going to pair it up with one of these up here. But in order to figure out what that's going to be like or look like for you, we should actually start looking at the workouts. And tricep workout number one looks like this. Just 4 simple exercises, and it starts off with a basic movement. It's the tricep pushdown. And I think one of the big things that we don't do here is take advantage of the fact that we can load this exercise up quite heavily here in the 6 to 8 rep range and then push it to failure. Again, without bastardizing the exercise or turning it into what I call a jackhammer pushdown. You still want to target the triceps, and most importantly here, you're hitting that medial lateral head by getting your arms out in front of your body. Now, ironically here, another good exercise would be or could be a close grip bench press in this spot. But if we are doing this, as I mentioned before, along with the perfect chest workout, I don't really need to have you bench pressing again. Okay, we could do this exercise, treat it the way I just said, and get good results for it. Again, 2 to 3 sets, 6 to 8 reps using your 6 to 8 rep max. Next, we have a lion dumbbell extension. Now, I mentioned before about the importance of the long head in terms of the allocation of size of the arm when it comes to that long head of the triceps. It's really important. But how you train it matters. Are you training it through that stretch position or are you training it in that contracted position? And as I mentioned before, you're going to have to do both. However, we're going to take it even a step further. We're not just going to do 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 using our 8 to 10 rep max, but we're going to do this in a way that allows us to cheat beyond, go to and through failure so we can perform some eccentric only repetitions where we can drive even more growth. And that's where we actually want to make sure that we're using the dumbbells here rather than an easy curl bar. because I love doing this exercise with an easy curl bar, but you're not going to be able to do the cheat to put yourself into the eccentric only reps as easily if you don't use dumbbells. Well, as you see here, when I reach concentric failure, I want to still perform these eccentric only repetitions. Well, that's where you're just going to drag them across your shoulders low to put you in a position to press them back up to the top, basically a close grip bench press. But this time it's going to be a weight that you can easily handle. And like I said, again, this would be very challenging if you had an easy bar that kept banging against the back of your head. The dumbbells allow you to do this much easier without that risk of concussion. Now, we're looking again at 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions, again, allowing for those eccentric only repetitions at the end. Now, the third exercise up here is going to complement what we just did. Remember last time we focused on that stretch position of the long head. To get that long head in its fully contracted state, you want to get that elbow back behind your body with the elbow extended as well. Well, that's where we do something like the dumbbell or cable tricep kickback. And I know this exercise takes a lot of shit because people say it's not worthwhile to do. I disagree completely. As a matter of fact, it's one of the only exercises, one of only a very few select, that allow us to get into this fully contracted position, and that's why you need to start making sure you do it. Now, while the cable might provide a more balanced resistance curve throughout the range of motion, I certainly don't think that the dumbbell is a bad option or one to be avoided. Remember, it's one of those only opportunities to get fully back behind your body and extended to really get that good triceps contraction, and therefore it's one that I want to make sure that you're doing. When you reach failure here, you can continue to kind of rep out even a little bit more and push those boundaries of growth even further by doing a few partial repetitions on the exercise. Again, 10 to 12 repetitions here to max on 2 to 3 sets. The last exercise is really one that we do with all of our workouts, and that is we try to end with some form of a bodyweight exercise. I like to say command your body in space, especially when you're training athletes. You want to make sure that there's something involved that allows you to move your body around. Here we're looking at targeting the triceps, and we take a push-up as our focus, but we actually change the exercise up a little bit to put more of the focus on the triceps. And rather than doing just a diamond push-up, the cobra push-up allows us to get those arms back again a little bit closer towards extending behind the body so we can further hit this tricep long head in this fully contracted position. So you're looking at 1 set to failure of this bodyweight burnout. Now, in terms of the recommended set volume that's best for you, it goes back to my original question of whether you intended to do this alongside the perfect chest workout or do it as a standalone workout. If you decide to do it on the same day with your perfect chest workout, then I would veer to the left side here of the set totals so that your total volume is only 2, 4, 6, 7 total sets. And that's, again, based on the fact that we're already using our triceps in the chest portion of the workout. If you're going to do this as a standalone, then you certainly can go on the higher end. We're looking at 3, 6, 9, 10 total sets. Again, the option is up to you. It depends upon what your overall plan is. And that brings us to tricep workout number 2. And here we start off with another compound exercise that's probably not done that often, but should be. We call it the PJR pullover. Now, it looks like a pullover to some, but it's not. And believe me, the range of motion needs to be cut short. You don't want to be pulling the dumbbell all the way up over your chest like you would with, let's say, a regular lat pullover. But your lats will help you here to handle much heavier loads than you might be accustomed to. And this is where the tricep growth capacity comes in, because you're going to use a weight that causes 6 to 8 rep form failure. And you allow for that deep stretch behind the head, and as you come up, stop the dumbbell about halfway and really focus on extending the rest of the way with the elbows. This should be an elbow-focused exercise. Don't think about moving your elbows through space as much as you would on a pullover. Think about extending the elbows and allowing them to bend and flex to make sure the triceps are doing the work. The next exercise up here is the cable tricep push-away. Now, I talked about those exercises that do a good job, like the first one, of putting that long head on stretch to help to recruit and stimulate that muscle for growth. Well, here, the tricep push-away is one that's another great option, and it's another one that gets that stretch. But what a lot of people do wrong here is they anchor it too low. They end in a position where the push-away is out in front of their body from here. What that does is basically cause the cable to be parallel to the arm in its contracted position, where you sort of lose some of the effect of that contraction. Instead, I want you to do it like this, where we have our arms high up over our head. And you can see there's much more perpendicularity between that cable and your forearms in the contracted position, meaning there'll be a lot more work being done. But again, if we do this exercise with a decent enough amount of weight here, 10 to 12 rep range, and we take it not just to failure, but again, utilize partial repetitions to go past failure, we're not just getting a good stretch exercise, but we're getting one that allows us to up the intensity level to a degree that maybe you haven't been experiencing right now, that allows for more tricep overall growth. The next exercise up here is going to do the opposite once again. Let's work on getting those triceps into that fully contracted position. Here we have something called the X pushdown. And I have to admit, I love this exercise. And whether or not you have access to a cable machine or not, you can hook a couple bands up to a pull-up bar and do this at home that way too. So don't avoid this exercise, especially given what it provides that's unique among the other exercises. And that is that fully contracted triceps. And in order to get there again, you can see you want those arms back behind your body. The way to do this is to take that cross-handed grip with the right grabbing the left and the left grabbing the right, and then driving those elbows back behind the body and then extending them. And you'll feel this one. Trust me, you feel an intense contraction, almost balled up if you do it properly. You want to make sure that you don't just get in there and get out. Revel in that contraction, revel in that balled up, kind of cramped up discomfort, and you know you're doing the right thing. And again, we don't have to just stop at 10 to 12 rep max, right? We're going to use that weight, but we can continue to go through failure by just cranking out a few extra partials in that until we know that we've reached failure and reached our limit. And then lastly, we did as we did the last time, we're going to finish up with a bodyweight exercise, this time the bench dip. And yet again, it's another exercise that I think gives us that great opportunity to get in that fully contracted state of the triceps by getting the elbows back behind the body and pushing those elbows all the way down until they're straightened out. Now, what are we looking for here? To do these right. Because this exercise can be a shoulder killer if you do them incorrectly. And the worst way to do it is with your hands pointed forward and your shoulders rounding out as you dip down to the bottom of every rep. Instead, what you want to do is open up the chest by opening up the palms. Turn your hands out on the bench, and as you go down, work on keeping the chest up high, and you'll see that you get all the benefits that you're looking for in the triceps without all those detrimental side effects to the shoulder joint. Here again, we're just doing one set to all-out failure as a bodyweight burnout. Now, as I mentioned before, it depends on whether or not you're following the perfect workout schedule where you're doing this on your second chest workout day. If that's the case here, veer towards the left side of the volume with 2, 4, 6, 7 total sets as the target. If you're going to do this as a standalone, you just want to do a regular tricep workout, then feel free to kind of go to the other side here and do 10 sets total. Whichever way you decide to do these tricep workouts, whether with chest or on its own, it will work for you, I promise. And now I'm going to make your job even easier because I'm going to allow you these screenshots that you can take so you can print them, bring them to the gym with you, and make sure that you don't miss a beat. Guys, if you want to follow the entire series here, we actually have the chest workout that you're going to want to do alongside this one, or here's the whole playlist so you can watch all the workouts in the perfect series. If you're looking for full workouts, guys, meal plans and supplements, we have them at athlenex.com. If you haven't already done so, make sure you click subscribe, turn your notifications so you never miss a video, not just in this perfect series, but any others we do on this channel. All right, guys, good luck. See you soon.